I'm telling you that one, so that you know that it's being recorded, and two, because I will be going at a little bit of a faster pace because we do only have a half hour, and it is a hard stop um, because we have new faculty orientation right after this, both Jeremy and I. And so we want to make sure that you are getting the information that you need to get, as well as letting you know that we're supporting all of our new friends that are joining us, both faculty and adjunct faculty. Okay, so real fast, we're going to go over creating a test in the Ultra course view, reusing questions, which is actually a really cool function that I'm excited to show you, using test banks that can be pulled from other courses, adding test banks, and also adding rubrics for different exams. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Please feel free to ask any questions in the chat. And just to make sure that the chat is working, go ahead and tell me how hot it is where you're at today. Oh, you know what? It's too hot. Yes, it is too hot. Um, Here we go. And now you can chat with everybody, not just not just the host. All right, so let's, there we go. Let's go ahead and chat to everybody. It either should say all participants or to everybody in the chat. So you go ahead and keep on keeping on. Let me make sure that everybody can see the chat. Sweet, thanks, John. All right, so we're gonna start in, I'm recording. Yes, I am recording. Um, we're going to go ahead and start in our course. So we will go to our course through the Blackboard Ultra experience. We will enter into our Blackboard Ultra course view. And if you've been participating in these mini workshops, you've known that I am building out essentially an entire learning unit throughout this entire process. So I built out different assignments. I built out a full lesson that has interactive questions and everything like that. I'm pointing this out to you because these questions are actually things that you can reuse in your tests. Okay? To create a test in Ultra, you will go ahead and click on the plus sign and you'll select Create. Now this menu that pops out on the right hand side of the screen, you'll go to the assessment section and select test. Now I want you to think about tests in a few ways. Tests provide feedback not only to you on where your students are standing as far as consuming the information, so it can be a summative assessment, something that's done at the end, or it can be an assessment that is done in the process. So it can be a tool to provide your students with feedback. If you are going to use a multiple choice test, I'm going to recommend that that is not your final. I'm going to recommend that that is something that your students are able to get feedback on. This is a tool to help them, one, apply the vocabulary and the content that you've been going over, and two, also to kind of help them assess where they're at, what they need to study more of, so on and so forth. The cool part about the different um, tests that you can create within Blackboard, if they are multiple choice, matching, um, or other things like that, the simple questions, they will be pre-graded for you. Okay? All right, so right now we are going to create a multiple choice test or a multiple choice quiz. Okay? So we'll just do quiz 1. All right? To add content to our quiz, we're going to click the plus sign here. And I am always going to recommend that you add text first. Provide context and directions for your students. So what are you expecting them? What is the purpose of this test? What are you expecting from them? What is the purpose of this quiz or test, the assessment that you're providing them with? And then what are they going to do with the information after they're done with it? Okay, so we're going to save that, and then we're going to hit that plus sign. And what I want you to see is that you can build your test out blank from here. You can pull from different pools or questions that you have already used, created, either in assignments, other quizzes or tests, or even other classes. Um, or you can build out here. Now, if you are building out um, fresh, you only need to build your questions once for like ever. So if you are pulling questions from an Excel file or something like that, it's going to take some time to build up front. I get it, especially if it's a multiple choice, but um, it will be something that you can do and reuse those questions, not only for this class, but also for your other classes as well. So you do have the ability to do a formula-based question. The equation editor is pretty epic in this version, and so you do have that option there. I'm going to go ahead and add a question from a pool. So these are all of the different questions that I've created within this course, and also the ones that I've brought over from other courses. Okay, so I'm going to use this multiple choice, this essay, literally just selecting as I go. I'm going to add a few questions about electromagnetism because this is a very wide covering course. And let's just go ahead and add all of those. Okay, I'm going to add those questions, and now I can save this just like this. And this is the difference between the pools and the banks. Okay, so I can view and I can go through all of these different questions just like this. Okay, so it kind of it's a different experience between the pools and the banks. So I'm going to go ahead and questions 1 through 8 are in a pool. Now I'm going to pull questions from my question banks. Okay, so I'm adding a question 9. Oh wait, I clicked the wrong thing. Fill in the blank. It's been so long. All right, I'm going to reuse the questions. This is where I can pull from my question banks. So I'm going to go to this question bank that I pulled in, copy the question over, and I'm going to also go ahead and add one more essay question, just save, and that's how I'm going to roll with this. Okay, so I've pulled questions from previously used resources, and I've also created new questions, and so I've got a wide-ranging test here. Okay. Mary, I'm not exactly sure what you're asking when you are saying, is there a way to upload current content? What type of content are you asking about? While you respond, I'm going to go over test settings. So over here on the right, you see test settings. We can edit these by clicking on the cog in the very upper right-hand corner, and I can set my test due date. So I want it due on the 28th. This is going to fall in the test category. So this is when we're talking about setting up our gradebook. That's something that we'll be going over tomorrow. The maximum points, because I have created questions um, I've brought in questions from other things, it's automatically calculated that it's going to be 100 points. Okay. Do I want to set a time limit? this depends on you and how your students are working. You do have the ability to set exemptions for different students, and that's something that you do on the in the gradebook and also on the roster. Okay, so I'm going to give my students 60 minutes, and then work is automatically saved and submitted when the time expires. Okay, you do also have the option that students have extra time to work after the time limit expires. So you can provide extra time, or you can say, yep, it's done. Okay. With uh, with qualified questions, you need to grade them. So any essay questions, fill in the blanks. Yes, there are, but it does provide some extra options for you to set up for your students. So if there's like capitalization or if there's a misspelling, something like that, that is taken into account. Okay. Um, so I've set my time limit for 60 minutes, and I've also said automatic submission. I will not be using a rubric for this assessment because I have multiple choice questions already in there. Um, and I can leave everything else the way that it is. I'm going to hit save. And so now I've set up my first quiz. Okay. I'm going to make this available to students, and I want you to see what it looks like from the student view. Okay, so I'm going to go to the left-hand side of the screen where it says Details and Actions and click on Student Preview. This will allow me to see what my students see. I'm going to hit Unit 1 and click on Quiz 1. So this gives me a basic breakdown letting me know that I have one attempt, 60 minutes, automatic submission. I would go ahead and talk to your students about what automatic submissions means. Let them know that their quiz or test will end after 60 minutes and will automatically be submitted. Don't make them go through that surprise without a heads up. Okay? So we're going to start our attempt. We're going to start the timer. Okay? We're going to go through all of our questions. I'm just going to go ahead and hit answer all of these real fast. As you can tell, I am a fantastic student. I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. After you submit, you can't do anything else. You're done. Okay. Now I see that my submission was turned in at 2:43 on the 20th. I have no more attempts left. It's not been graded, but as a student, I am done. Okay. From the back to the instructor view, this is what you are going to see once a submission has been turned in. So you can go directly to the test, and you'll see in the upper right-hand corner that you have one submission. One quick note, this is what the test looks like on your end, but they got to see all of the different questions. They didn't see a difference between the pool and the single questions. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you're building your tests. Keep that in your process. It may look different on your end, but it will be fully expanded on their end. So I'm going to click on submission. I see that there is one attempt to grade. And I see that for all of the multiple choice questions, it's already been graded for me. Okay? So whether they got it wrong, they got it right, but for the fill in the blank questions, I need to grade those. Okay? And once I've entered that, it will automatically tabulate for me and I am good to go. If I want to provide more feedback for them, I can. Don't ever provide that type of feedback to your students. and I can move on to the next submission to grade. Okay. When you're grading, when a number of your students have turned in submissions, what will happen is you'll see the next student's name show up in the right-hand corner. So all you have to do is click the next one and their submission will show up. So the grading process in Ultra has actually saved a lot of time. And from my perspective, I actually appreciate it a lot more. Okay. Now, what I want you to see real quick within the gradebook is you have this button called that says post. This has been graded, but my student does not see it. So not until I do post or post all grades will my students see their grades. So that's again something to keep in mind. We'll go over that more in our gradebook session tomorrow. So that is how you create a simple quiz. That is also how you pull in from test banks and how you grade a quiz. Okay, I'm just going to take a little bit of a breath because we are at the 15-minute mark. Any questions so far? Mary, can you give me a little bit more about what the current content is that you're asking about? Okay, so Julie, you cannot upload a Word document. I'll go over banks right now, okay? So to create a test bank or something to pull from, rather than entering each question in manually, Ultra only accepts zip files. So if your publisher has a zip file, that's what you want to download, not the Word document. Okay? So, and to do that, you'll go to Details and Actions over here on the left-hand side, and you'll select Question Banks. And in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a plus sign, and you'll be able to download any of the zip files that you have there. Okay? Um, I haven't worked with publisher content in a while, Julie, and actually this is going to be a question for the entire group. How many publishers are providing Word documents for the test banks? Or are they still publishing um, zip files? Anybody? You don't have anything from the publisher? Okay. Okay. So it looks like there's a mix between Word from McGraw-Hill. Okay. All right. So with that, and this is going to be an answer that's not always awesome. If your publisher is only providing you with a Word file, what I'm going to recommend is that you go in and create a test. You don't have to make it available to students. It can be worth 0 points, and just put in all of those questions. Um, and then, like I said, once you've put them in the system, you can use them throughout all of your courses. You can also request a zip file from the publisher. Um, and then if you are building your own, again, once you enter it into the system, you're solid for the rest of your courses. Okay? Let me check my list. So we went over reusing questions, using banks, adding banks, zip files only. Now, if you are, for example, creating a final exam, so let's go to create, we'll go to test, and let's say we're doing a paper, okay? We're going to hit that plus sign. We're going to add our text. And this is going to be like the prompt that they need to complete. Make sure that it is, if it's like that end of the term paper, if it's a midterm paper, use the test tool. It's helpful. And go ahead and hit save. You'll set the due date. I'm going to have so many things due on the 28th on my calendar. It's going to be ridiculous. Here, I do have the ability to change the points. So this is the final exam, so I'm going to make it worth 250 points. I'm not going to put a time limit because it is a paper. I am going to enable safe assign, so I do get that originality report, and I'm going to hit save. Okay? I'm going to make it available to my students, and it's done. The reason why I recommend making a final paper, even if it's something that is just you're using the exam tool as a Dropbox, is because right now we have icon differentiation taking place. So all of these icons have changed, not only in Ultra, but also in Blackboard. So if I'm a student and I'm going through my course and I'm scanning through all of these different things, I see this is a document, this is an assignment, this is a test. I want to see that this is, I'm not going to get confused between this being a reflection paper or a basic assignment and a test. Okay, so it's just some visual cues to set your students up for a win. I'm going to go into student preview, open up Learning Unit 1. I see my final exam. I'm going to view the assessment. I've got my instructions here. All I need to do is add content. So I'll click the paperclip. We'll go ahead and add that document. Save. Submit in the lower right-hand corner. It's going to ask me again if I'm sure if I want to submit it. Again, explain to your students. They will get to see that they've had something submitted. I can't tell you how many times we've had students say, I didn't know if it was submitted, or I thought it was submitted and I didn't know how to tell if it was. Let them know they have a submission ticket right there. Okay? Give them that heads up. Set them up for the win. Set yourself up for the win. All is well. If I'm a student and I don't know if I've submitted something, I can go back to the assignment and see I did submit something. It was submitted 8:20 at 2:53. So this isn't just like a one-time thing that they have access to right after. This is making sure that they are accountable, you're accountable. It just puts an extra safety net in place. Okay? All right. We've got 6 more minutes, and so I've got to head out real soon, but I want to show you what this looks like from the instructor view. So I'm the instructor, and I'm actually going to enter in through the gradebook. So you'll see what that looks like. So the gradebook is accessed by going up to the right-hand corner and going to the paper with the pencil in the lower right-hand corner. I'm going to select that. I see the final exam right here, that there is one to grade. So I'm going to select that. I see the list. Elizabeth Nelson has an attempt to grade. And I see she submitted a wonderful welcome letter template. Fantastic, Elizabeth. I love it. But unfortunately, I need to provide some feedback here. And I'm going to go ahead and go back and add a couple of comments here. And from there, I feel like while she did a solid job, I'm going to give her 200 because she's fun. Don't grade based off of that. Um, so I've done my grading and I'm going to go ahead and exit out. I see that it's done. I'm going to post her grade so that she'll be able to see it. Okay. So far we've gone over how to create a test, how to reuse your questions, even if they were built for an assignment in the assignment tool, using question banks, how to add banks. Just go to that plus sign in the upper right hand corner and you can only add a zip file. And then also how to create a Dropbox type of exam, grade it and post it. Okay. I got 4 minutes before we have to close out our session. Any questions? It's because it's Thursday at 3, huh? Everybody's pretty tired. I want you to notice that it is a much faster process than it was creating in the original course view. There's no more Canvas, there's no more deploy. It's make it visible to students, make it close it to students. Okay? Can you give an example of a writing test question? That would be what I just did. You also have the ability to do a a sentence length answer. Okay, real fast. Let's go ahead and go to our quiz 1 and we're going to add, let's see if we can add. I think because there was a submission we can't. So let's create test. This is going to be a test of how fast you can create one. So I'm going to do an essay question, and that's probably going to be the easiest. And so we'll just do type your question, save. You can stick with all of the defaults. We only have 10 points. You do have the ability to edit that if you want to make it 100 points. That's a very valuable sentence. We'll hit save, and then we're good. And so that would be your short answer test. Is that, John, is that what you were looking for? Yeah. So you would use the essay. No, these videos are not on lynda.com. We will be posting these videos to CTL online. And also at this point, if you participated in any of the workshops yesterday, I've already sent you out recordings from all of yesterday's workshops. We will be posting, I will be sending out these workshop videos tomorrow, and shorter videos of step-by-steps for specific tasks will be provided within the next few weeks. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you being here. You're amazing. You're fantastic. Go team. You all have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you tomorrow.